Let me check to make sure we are on the Facebook page. Hello, if you are watching. We have a great live for you tonight. I'm just checking to make sure that we are streaming on all the proper channels. We want you guys all to get it. Looks like we are on the public page. I'm going to check our Facebook group. See. And hopefully it's going to pop up there too. We just connected it earlier. Okay, cool. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to, we had a little bit of a hiatus, but welcome to the startup of our Texas Prisons Alliance Facebook Lives. And this is also going to be on YouTube, which if you haven't joined our YouTube channel yet, you should like it. You should subscribe to it because we're going to be filling it with all kinds of really awesome educational content, as well as like interviews with other advocates and influencers and reentry resources, all kinds of stuff. So definitely want you to follow. I am Christina Vadahoski, and I am the Vice President in Texas Prisons Alliance. And Tatiana.
I'm Tatiana Santoyo, President and founder of Texas Prisons Alliance.
You demoted yourself.
I
demoted
did.
yourself. We got so much going on. So, but wherever you are watching this, you can submit questions and we can answer your questions for you. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about a couple things tonight. So the first thing that's up is going to be just a little bit of a legislative recap. If you didn't get a chance to check out the Parole Advocacy Coalition of Texas, our PACT Live, we did an overview of the legislative session. It's going to be a little bit like that, but just kind of go over briefly some of the bills that did and didn't pass and what that could mean for you and your loved ones. We're going to cover the heat directive because it is hot in Texas right now. And it is really important that you know how to advocate for your loved one who is incarcerated and dealing with the heat, but also that your loved ones know how to advocate for themselves. We have some really exciting veterans focused projects that we want to update you guys on. And we're going to talk a little bit about some exciting new merch that dropped and our Law of Parties campaign and what it means for those who may have incarcerated loved ones, unfortunately, under the Law of Parties. We'll close out with some other updates and then just kind of let you guys go on your way. We'll hopefully end a little bit before or a little bit after 8. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of really amazing things coming out. So let's talk a little bit about the legislative session that we just had, which was the 89th session. And it was unfortunately not a great session for parole reform, for criminal justice reform, and for advocacy in general. We had a lot of bills that did not pass. Our second look bills, they unfortunately did not pass, and that was SB 200. We did not get the good time bill passed, which is HB 2940. We did not get any of the AC bills passed. The AC bill that kind of went the furthest was HB 3006. We did not have any MRIS bills passed, which for those who might not know is what we also call compassionate release, which is something that TPA can help advocate for. We don't get a lot of requests for that. And I think part of that, Tati, is probably because it's a really complex process and it's really convoluted. I think a lot of people just don't know that it even exists.
Yeah, I agree.
But we can advocate. So if you have a loved one who has medical issues, is older, and you really feel like, maybe should be on hospice at home or should be at home with their loved ones, MRIS does exist. It's very difficult to get, but we would love to try and help advocate to help your loved one get that compassionate release. Our commutation bills We did not get any judicial commutation bills passed. Our law of parties, which was HB 5058, unfortunately, that bill did not pass. That bill did not even get a hearing. That bill was referred and did not even get a hearing. And then none of the voting rights bills passed either. And all of this is pretty heartbreaking, especially for those of us who have someone who is incarcerated. Um, so HB 2940, which is the good time credits bill, that would have let more people earn good time for positive behavior and programs, even if they were in county jail. And it would have applied credits to parole eligibility, including for more serious, what we consider aggravated cases. But unfortunately, that did not pass. But hopefully next year we can get it back up, advocate for it again, and actually get it heard this time. Um, all the AC bills, so that was HB 1315, HB 2997, HB 489, and then HB 3006. Those would have required TDCJ to install AC in phases by 2028 to 2032, which definitely seems, it would have been a long time, 2032, but but there is currently the lawsuit that's happening, and so unfortunately it doesn't seem like AC is going to come due to the legislative session, but will most likely have to come through the lawsuit that will and hopefully that's successful, because over 70% of Texas units still do not have AC. And in heat, like getting ready to come up, I know it's going to be in the hundreds next week. That is not okay. We also did have one bill that did pass that was very positive is the sunset bill, and that is SB 2405. And that sunset bill is it had to pass, so I think that's an important caveat to kind of talk about. It would have had to have passed, but we were able to get some really kind of good uh some good things added, I would say, to it. So it does continue the operations of TDCJ, of the Correctionally Managed Healthcare, of Wyndham, and the Board of Pardons and Paroles for another 12 years. So there will not be another sunset process for all of those departments for another 12 years. So if you participated this year and provided comments, thank you very much for lending your voice to the process. Um, it will also create an Office of the Independent Oversight to monitor prison conditions, healthcare complaints, and deaths in custody. And it will require a public facing dashboard with machine readable, which is very important because that means people like you and I can request it. Regularly updated data on what's happening in TDCJ. And so they have to actually stand up a dashboard on their site, and make sure people inside have access to updated orientation and parole guidance because a lot of what they currently have is very outdated. And it adds a lot of safeguards around treatment and access to programs and placement. There were three bills, however, that were passed that were not so positive. SB 1506, which is could possibly mean longer set-offs after parole denials, and that is retroactive and it will apply to people who are already incarcerated. And it starts in September. It starts September 1st of 2025. And then HB 2854, which is that really horrible hospital visit restriction parole bill, that applies to anyone who's paroled after September 1st, 2025, and has like an aggravated charge. And then there's HB 1024, and that kind of applies to like blue warrants and faster warrants for monitoring violations. And we already know that parole officers are already overworked, and there's not a lot of people who actually, get right through to their parole officer on the first try. And this could mean they're even more like burdened. And we definitely don't want that. I see Myra. She is watching. Thank you, Myra, for watching. Let's see, I can show all of our comments on the stream. She said, God bless you, ladies. Thank you, Myra. And so if you guys have some questions about some of the bills or the legislative session, please feel free to throw it in the chat. You can send me a message or send us an email and let us know kind of like, hey, I have some questions about like how the sunset bill is going to affect my loved one, or I have a question about how I can advocate for the good time bill in the future, and we'd be happy to kind of walk you through some of the process and let you know how you can get your voice heard. So, but if we don't have any questions, I think we'll move on to the heat directive, and Tatiana's going to talk about that.
Thank you. The heat directive, just know that it's still in place. The heat directive actually is in place all year round. The only difference is that in the winter time, it affects cold weather. And in the heat, obviously, it affects the hot weather as well. Also know that there is one change, and I want to reiterate that. Back before last year, they were required to provide ice and cold water. Now it's either or. I know we've received a lot of questions and some loved ones complaining that they're not giving ice with their cold water. It's either or. If they're providing cold water, they don't have to provide the ice. But if the water is warm or room temperature, or I've even heard hot, then they do have to provide ice. Some units are using what looks like it's a backpack that keeps the cold in the water, but it looks like a lot of people say that it's for like fumigating, but it's not. They use that for camping. So there's a lot of units that are going and they're walking by and just basically it has like a little hose and they'll provide their cup. They have to stick out the cup and then they'll fill it up with water and they'll continue to walk, which makes it easier. What some units are having difficulties with now that I know of, and I know Win Unit's one of them, is that they have an ice maker in the kitchen and it only makes oh so much ice. And I know, for example, there's a transit wing and they're supposed to be providing every 2 hours, but they don't make enough ice. So that's the issue that a lot of units are facing, that the ice makers are either too old or they're not making enough ice fast enough. So they are aware of it and they are trying to rectify it. So bear with them on that. And I know within the next week or so, it's going to be in the upper 90s. It's been hot as heck as it is, and it'll continue to be that way, unfortunately. Please keep aware of the heat index. If your loved one is being denied respite or a cold shower, please let us know. But we do ask that if you're being denied respite, let us know what section they're in. If they have a name of an officer that's denying the respite, that would be incredible as well. The more information you provide us, the better. I know that also in regards to rec is supposed to be provided, not every day. A lot of the regions that do have short staff should be on a rotation schedule. So one day, one section will do it, like let's just say A wing, and then the next day will be B wing, and then the next day will be C wing, and then the next day will be D wing. And they'll be doing it, it's a rotation schedule. So it'll be maybe twice a week at that, due to the short staff. We do understand that we want our loved ones to breathe some fresh air, but unfortunately, this is what they've been able to come up with for right now. Hopefully, they will get more staff and it'll be a lot better later. We have heard in the women's facilities that they are a little bit lazy and just don't feel like it. So that's not an excuse. We do need to know about that, what officer it is, the name of the officer. I know a lot of them don't use their name tags, but we do need to know their name and the time that this happened so that we can know roughly, and then what area again. That's huge. That's a very important location because it's a huge unit. So we don't know what area you're talking to in general as well. And I know also during the heat and the lockdown for the G4s and the G5s, we've had a lot of complaints. The food, by the time they get it, it's rotten. Please let us know. I've had complaints, but 3 or 4 days after the fact. And to me, I have to be honest with you, it's kind of, it's too late. It's too late. We need to know that day. So that would help us a lot. We understand because of the heat, the food will be rotten. It's not going to get there on time, or there's not enough food. They run out of food. So if we can get as much information in regards to those complaints so that we can assist you, it would be a great help to us, helping you faster. And if it's an issue that's affecting more than one person, you do not have to go to our website and fill out a request for assistance. But if it's in regards to your specific loved one that it's affecting and nobody else, then we do ask that you go to our website and fill out a request for assistance, and we will be with you within 24 to 48 hours. Not sure if I'm leaving anything else out in regards to the heat directive. What do you think, Christina?
So you did mention something about rec, and that's actually a thing I think we see a lot about. How should someone go about getting their loved one to either advocate for themselves or to advocate for their loved one if they don't have if rec has been denied for multiple days? Because that's a very common thing. And I know like on our chain of command, a lot of times I just tell them to use like the same pathway as like the abuse of power, which is very similar, but to to say like this is about rec, but like what are your suggestions for advocating for rec?
Well, in regards to rec, if it's more than, we already know that grievances, we can complain as a whole, but for one specific person, it's a little bit more difficult. So if they can band together and file grievances, more than 20 grievances, it's taken care of at the Huntsville level. It's not taken care of at the unit level. I know that a lot of units gatekeep their grievances. They pick and choose. Um, this is all hearsay. Wink, wink. We all know how that rolls. So, but yes, it should be handled at the Huntsville level. Um, and unfortunately, we can complain oh so much, but they're going to come back from the ombudsman's office and they're going to say, due to further investigation, so and so didn't file a grievance. Therefore, that's it. They can't do anything because they haven't done their part. So we can advocate, but we also ask that your loved ones do their part as well. And I know a lot fear of retaliation, and we have grievances with verbiage that can help them in regards to retaliation. I know there's a lot of retaliation in the women's facilities as well as the men's facilities, but there's a lot in the women's, to be honest with you, because we're cracking down. We're cracking down, and we've made a lot of people upset, and I have to be honest with you, I could care less as long as the ladies get what they need. So, but it's up to the incarcerated individual to unfortunately pick their battle. Um, but best believe we'll do everything to help you get out of that situation.
I saw someone was talking about transferring because of an education program. I was gonna drop in the chat. We do have a some information about like how long certain transfers can take. They're not immediate. Like a loved one can put information in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna happen immediately. Um, so I'm going to just drop this link into the chat. Um, and feel free to like check that out. That's one of the resources on our page. It talks a little bit about education, transfers, and different types of transfers. So, all right. And then if anyone doesn't have any questions about the heat directive, we have some really exciting veterans updates.
We
And I
do.
feel I feel like that's like a maybe like a weird thing to say, but we have some really exciting
We
veterans
do.
updates.
We do. So we have the Veterans Alliance. It's the Veterans Transformation Alliance group, and we are sponsoring. We are sponsoring certain units. We are doing Stevenson. We are working on Styles, and we are working on Cofield unit, and one other unit that I can't remember, but it'll come to me shortly. So we're sponsoring them. We're going in there and we are getting to know the veterans. We are helping them with rehabilitation, for reentry services, and whatever they need. Whatever they need, we are there to provide the information and the resources that they are in dire need of in order to help their rehabilitation process, to provide them and guide them to one step closer for them to come home.
And so like can you talk a little bit about like what some of these veterans programs are? Like what is it that they do? Like what's like, you know?
So the veterans get together in a group. They'll get together in a group and they have, I think, a monthly meeting once a month. And they just discuss things, their goals, aspirations. I guess they have like celebrations for vets only. Now, Stevenson right now doesn't have a vets pod, and I know that they want to talk to the warden about that. I know that there's some veteran celebrations that they want to acknowledge. There's flags that they need as well. I know that the person that I'm working with, the director inside there, and I say it, the director inside there, he is a director with Texas Prisons Alliance, but he's on the inside, and he is phenomenal, and he is so organized to the point where it is annoying, but it's wonderfully annoying. And man, and he's just great. His name is Daniel Ortiz, and he's put his heart and soul in this, and he helped start the veterans at Robertson unit. Now he's at Stevenson unit, and he just has so many plans and so many goals for the group. So right now it's just a matter of getting the we're just gathering all the vets from the unit to see who wants to partake in this, and we would take it from there basically. So that's where the beginning stages that we're at. But it's super exciting just to see this little baby grow. And we nurtured it and we fed it, and very excited for the upcoming units as well.
And so if someone has a loved one who is a veteran and they are interested in maybe starting something like this at their unit, is that something they can reach out to us about?
Most definitely. They can write a letter and they can put veteran sponsor. I will immediately get that. They also have to ensure that they have, not only would we be a sponsor on the outside, they have to have a sponsor on the inside, somebody, and I mean by a worker.
Hmm.
There are TDC employees that will sponsor you. And once you have that person, like I just got an e-message today. I had gotten a letter, reached out to him, and he responded to me, and he's telling me to reach out to her, that she's on board. She's on board. So I'm going to go ahead. I just need her first name because we need the first names. We need their first names in order to email them. And just to confirm, let them know that they have reached out to us so that we can sponsor them for their veterans group. And once they confirm, we go ahead and we take it to the warden and we take it from there. We are working closely with Huntsville as well, the veterans division over there, to ensure that they approve it correctly, because I know that there are some groups called the Veterans Incarcerated groups that they are going to go ahead and dissolve due to previous abuse of power issues. So there will be no more soon Veterans Incarcerated groups. Those will change little by little. So yeah.
That's exciting though. I think it's exciting to be able to have that connection inside. I think it's wonderful for the vets to be able to have that connection outside, especially considering that he's so organized. I've seen some of the stuff that that
Yes.
he sent in,
Yes.
and like these guys inside, they are crazy smart and crazy
They really
talented,
are. Really.
and they want rehabilitation so badly.
Yeah,
And I'm it's yeah, it's so exciting. I love hearing the new updates, because
definitely.
I feel like vets don't get enough love sometimes.
They don't.
So
They're very forgotten when I think that we should just, I mean, man, they, you know, they sacrificed themselves for us, for their country. And I'm just so grateful for that. And there's a lot that, there's a lot of times that I see that they come back with issues
yeah,
and it's lack of resources, lack of assistance when, man, we should be, you know, bending over backwards for them, and helping them out because they sacrifice so much,
yeah,
for us. So and because of the lack of rehabilitation that has been provided is pretty much the majority of the reasons why they're in prison.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, so many people come back with PTSD, and that it's kind of
Yes.
like that invisible illness. As people talk about, the invisible problem, because a lot of people don't seek help, or they're not offered help, and then unfortunately they end up in TDCJ, and the mental health resources in TDCJ are not great. So a lot of those problems are just exacerbated, and it's quite sad.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so. We got some. I've been sharing I've seen a couple people asking about transfers. So I posted a link in the chat, and that link actually has information about all of the different types of transfers, and kind of like how to initiate them. Some you can help initiate, like hardship transfers, but other ones like education transfers or program transfers, those have to be done by your loved ones, and there's not really, um, you know unfortunately, the way transfers work often is there has to be a bed available at that unit. There has to be room in the program for someone to be able to transfer. And if your loved one is unfortunately either not eligible, or not close enough to parole, or had a case or something like that, it can affect their ability to transfer to another unit, especially
Definitely.
for a program. Um, so I'm going to talk a little bit about something that's I'm really passionate about, and I know Tatiana's passionate about it too, but it's something called the law of parties. And in Texas, it means it's also called like the co-conspirator rule, and it's a state statute, which I can't talk now, but it's 7.02. And the law of parties means that you can be held liable for someone else's crime, and you could not be physically there. You could be like the driver. This disproportionately affects women, especially women who might be in relationships that unfortunately are marked by domestic violence. But it also affects men. I mean, we get so many letters from people who say, like, I was incarcerated and charged under the law of parties in Texas, and I didn't do like anything. um and so it's something that we are trying to kind of get a feel for: how many people are currently incarcerated in TDCJ under the law of parties. It's very difficult sometimes to discern based on charges if a person was. It doesn't say like if you go to the inmate search, and you look them up, it doesn't say a law of parties charge. It could say that
Mhm.
it's a murder charge. It could say that it's a burglary charge. It could say that it was conspiracy charge, but this could all be under law of parties. And so it's very difficult. You have to go to like a county level and look through court documents. And those are not always easy to get. And so sometimes the best way to get that data is from the people who are incarcerated in Texas. And so we have developed a survey and I'm going to link it in the chat, but we have developed a survey. And if your loved one was incarcerated under the law of parties, we would love to hear from them or hear from you. And so if you are on the outside and you would like to submit a survey to have your loved one added to our database for a law of parties reform, you can fill out the survey. If you would rather have your loved one complete the survey, you can just have them write to us at Texas Prisons Alliance, PO Box 1563, Pearland, Texas. I think it's 77588 585. Okay,
Yes.
588. That's right. And
Yes.
they can just put LOP on the envelope.
Yes.
And what I will do, I answer most of those personally, and I will send them back an actual physical survey that they can fill out and then mail back to us. And then I put those all into our database. And we're trying to amass this large database of LOP stories and people who are how they are affected and how families are affected to help get this doctrine reformed, this statute reformed. And it's definitely an uphill battle, but education about this is so important because I don't think a lot of people actually know that a law like this exists in Texas. And when you talk about it, they're like, there's no way. There are multiple people who are currently on death row under the law of party. So you can even be sentenced to death for a crime you did not commit in Texas. That's the reach of this law. But we would love to have your loved one contact us or you contact us and let us know their story. The idea behind this initiative is that we are going to be creating packets and postcards and educational information to send to legislators and lawmakers and attorneys, people who can actually help to educate them about this. And we would like to use actual stories to say, like, this person was 17, 18, 19 years old when this happened. They have been incarcerated for decades. And, this is how it has impacted their life and their families' lives. And we want these actual stories. We want to have that, that emotionality behind this law because I feel like so many people, when they hear about this, they don't have like a face to put to it. And we
Exactly.
want to change that. And we want to show people just how far reaching this law currently is, this doctrine currently is. So if you have a loved one who is affected by it, we would absolutely love to have their story. You can choose to have it done anonymously. So you can say, like, you can use a story, just like make sure you redact names, or I want to add it to the database, but I don't want you to necessarily use the story. We will absolutely honor that. But if you want us to utilize names and stories, you can also choose that. So I want you to know that, like, this is anonymous. You can be anonymous. It is not something where we're going to be like sending out names of people unless they are explicitly let us know that that's something they want us to do. But this is something that we're really passionate about. My husband is incarcerated under the law of parties. Tatiana's
Yes.
husband. And
Yes.
so, we feel for the families who have a loved one who is incarcerated under this law, and we absolutely want to try and help. And we think the best way to do this is to try and put faces to this law. So if you have somebody, please fill out our survey. It doesn't take too long. You can be as detailed as you want. You can type it up elsewhere and then paste stuff in. It's totally fine. But we would love to have your story and your loved one's story so that
Definitely.
we can advocate.
And a way that I was caught on to what the law of parties was, because I didn't know, was pretty much guilty by association.
Mm,
You were there at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sometimes you don't even have to be there.
You're
Sometimes
you're
the
right. You're right.
the other
Yeah.
so there are some people who have been incarcerated under the Texas law of parties because they had possible knowledge of a crime and then they didn't do anything to stop it. And they were
Yeah.
still given decades. And you think about someone who was like maybe young, or maybe was scared, and the person that was committing the crime, was much older, and they looked up to that person. So it's a
You're right.
prosecutorial tool, unfortunately, that
Yeah.
can be used for a lot of harm.
Yeah. No,
So
you're totally right. Because I have a friend at Crane Unit who had no idea. She was in the car. She drove the car. This guy says, drive me. He was a friend. He was a guy friend. And he says, drive me here. She stood in the car. She had no idea what was going on. And then she's all, what'd you do? And he's all, you're better off not knowing. So she left it at that. 2 days later, the police came to her house and arrested her. And because she didn't tell them what they wanted to hear, she got life.
yep. And
She got
it's
life.
something that affects women so disproportionately too. I'm
Definitely.
gonna also drop in the chat the Facebook group, the Law of Parties Facebook group. So if you have someone who is affected by the Law of Parties, you can join the Law of Parties Facebook group. Tell your story in the Facebook group. Get people, who understand, what's going on with the law, and then help us gear up for this next legislative session so that we can create these postcards and send them out and create the packets and educate yourself about it. So that way, when someone says, hey, what's the law of parties? You can say, actually, I can tell you all about it, and spread the word. We also create some really cool shirts to help raise money for the for the campaign. So, which if I had one, I would wear it like tonight. I'm gonna be traveling, and my goal as soon as I get back is to order a shirt. But I didn't want it to be delivered while I was gone. So yeah, but I'm excited to wear mine. I can't wait. There's one that says ask me about the law of parties, and I can't wait to wear it and have somebody ask me and then talk their ear off about it. So be the annoying law of parties person. But and on that, we have some pretty cool merch. I know that you know sometimes you don't just want to wear something that maybe just has like a logo on it or something like that. So we had some cool merch that we just created. We have some for people, for mothers who have someone who is incarcerated. A mother's love knows no walls, and that helps support like our Parents Compassion Project. We have Reform is my love language. It is definitely my love language. It needs to be added to the five love languages book. Reform should be a
Definitely.
an advocacy. Our Law of Parties merch. We have some Faith and Freedom Ministry. They just did some really awesome stuff at the Lionel unit, which I don't know if we've talked about that since then. That they went to
No.
Lionel. Yeah, we did a cool off with Christ at
Revival.
Lionel.
Yeah.
Yes. So they were just there, and they said that it went fantastic. Um, unfortunately, I wasn't there, but were
And I know
you?
they
Yeah.
went in with Gangsters for
Yes.
Jesus ministry. Yes. It was very welcoming. She said that they had stated when they walked in, they were in the gym, and they were welcomed with a huge welcome TPA sign, which you know, I think I would have melted and teared up a little bit just by hearing it. Was just so, I just feel grateful to feel so appreciated, um, and just have the acknowledgement that they were happy that we were there. We were
Yeah.
there, and we had Myra, who gave a powerful prayer and testimony. Bethany as well. Yeah, it was very, very successful.
And they just did a prayer chain on
Yes.
Friday. Yeah, they just did a
Yeah, and
prayer
we
chain
have
on
another one
Friday.
on Saturday.
Yes, which everyone should definitely join and watch. They
Yes.
should purchase a shirt and then join and watch in the shirt. We have some cool shirts though. We have one that says, I don't know, for people who might be like Swifties. We have one that says "In my advocate era." So some cool ones.
Love
We
it.
have "My favorite people are doing time." I know many of my favorite people are definitely doing time. And so if you would like to support the mission of TPA, that's one way that you can do that. So we have like links where you can donate, but if you would like to like actually like wear some of your advocacy, and show that you're like a proud prison mom or prison wife, or a law of parties advocate, or that you support the Faith and Freedom Ministry, these are ways for you to physically wear that and to kind of own something while also giving back, to the prison reform and advocacy community. So buy some cool merch. I'm totally
Yep,
gonna buy some. So
me
I'm
too.
gonna post lots of videos of with me wearing it because I want people to ask me about the law of parties so that I can explain. But
Definitely.
the proceeds from all of that, it goes straight to us, and we are completely volunteer based. And so it's not like we don't use any of that money for like for a salary or anything. That money goes to paying for things like the revival at Lionel Unit, for the upkeep of things like some of our administrative costs, like our server, um, and our Google stuff, so that we have emails where we can, email administrators back and forth. It goes towards purchasing of merch. It goes towards correspondence. We have over 1,000 letters that have just been sent to us, and that's in just a little over a year. And we have to respond to those, and we probably got more.
Speaking of letters, why don't you tell them about that wonderful data on our website?
We do. We also have a transparency dashboard. We find that transparency in advocacy is incredibly important. And so we have created a data dashboard that has some of our trends by region. So, like, what's going on in the region where your loved one is at, issues by unit, the number of requests by region, and our volume of requests over time, and like the difference between our letters that we receive versus our requests for assistance. It's all anonymized. So if someone from TDCJ were to see this, they would have no idea who's asking, for what. It literally just says like medical. Estelle, which is a medical unit. So not really giving away a lot of information, but it helps us track. And this helps us advocate better for your loved one, because we can say we have gotten 15 medical requests from Smith Unit, and they're all about the same thing. Like, chain is having an issue, and there have been a lot of times where TDCJ has come to us and said, hey, what's going, are you seeing an uptick in this?
Yep.
And they've tried to address it. So it's a really important tool for us. And we're really excited, and we try and update it at least once a month, with some information, and hopefully we'll start getting it updated even more frequently. But for right now, even once a month, we get like a bulk upload of all the data that we have. So super excited about that.
Yes, I
um,
love it. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. So, um, but all of whenever you purchase something like that or donate, that's where that money goes. It goes for help for us to create. I just posted it in the chat. It's on our website. So if you go to texasprisonsalliance.org, there's a little banner at the top and it says transparency dashboard. I think I can actually show, maybe. Let me see. Let's see if I can screen share. I can share this window. So here is our transparency dashboard. So you can kind of see. Let's see if I can make it maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe. There we go. So here's our transparency dashboard. So this is on texasprisonsalliance.org. And so if you just click on transparency dashboard, it'll take you here, and you've got, like, you can see here, we have 147 requests at Wainwright. We've got out of or 177 letters from Wainwright. It talks about like where we've been getting things by region. It talks about like where we're getting these categories and how many requests we get just a month. And so this kind of gives you just like a little overview also into some of the advocacy work that we do. I mean, also while I have this up, I'm gonna show off some of our stuff. Like, look at this cool merch. Look at this. I got cool shirts, Law of Party shirts. These are our Faith and Freedom Ministry shirts. This one is also one of my favorites. I kind of want to get this one because I want people to ask me about it too. So, but all of the purchase, like all of the proceeds from sales of any of this, it goes directly to helping advocacy efforts. It goes to correspondence. It goes to the upkeep of the website. It goes to our email service. It goes to helping support the vets programs. It goes to helping with our revivals. It goes to helping with programming for our resilient young people of Texas, for our reentry resources programs. All of the proceeds go directly for the advocacy work. So, but yeah, I'm proud of it. So I want to show it off because because I feel like we're doing a really good job. And we love all the feedback that we get from you guys too about everything.
Definitely.
And then we have some other updates. So we did talk a little bit about Lionel, but we need some people, don't we, Tati?
We do. We need some people. And I know that this isn't your typical volunteer position. This is, it's a part of, I can say that it's a part of my life. You know, it's a part of my life. It's like another job. Um, but we need help. We need help. We need administrative assistance. We could definitely use a facilitator or two to help us advocate. Mind you, if you don't have any experience, we have training. We have a training program that we've developed. We are there. We have directors that will answer your questions. We will answer your questions. The vice presidents will answer your questions. We have training once a month via remote. We don't leave you out like that just to hear, okay, go ahead and take care of this. That's not what we do. We want to make sure that you know what you're doing and you understand that. Um, that's what a facilitator. Now, a prisoner support advocate, you would be doing it kind of behind the scenes. You're answering the letters. You're advocating for people. We get letters from incarcerated individuals who don't have anybody out here. There's a lot that have been left alone. They're left alone inside there. So they don't have anybody. I mean, a lot of them have put us on their HIPAA so that we can help them because they have medical issues. Um, but any little bit of help would be wonderful. Um, we can definitely use it. We do have an online volunteer form. If you're interested, let us know what you're interested in. Even for the ministry, we're growing our ministry and we can use any support. We do ask that you have to also apply to be a volunteer for the ministry to go inside behind the walls. That's what you would be doing. But you can't go in the unit where your loved one is. That's the only caveat. You can't go in there, unfortunately. So, but you could go to any other unit that your loved one is not in. For some reason, that's just a no. But their online volunteer and training is takes a little time. But once you do the training, which is maybe about, I think, 30 minutes, you have to wait. And the waiting process can be from about 2 to 3 months. Um, I've been waiting since April and I've had the majority of mine approved except for the last one. There's just one pending, and this has been since April. So we do ask that you do that, but you can most definitely volunteer in that sense. But yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. Help is so, it's just, we really need it. We really need it. And how do I say this? The more the merrier. And yeah, yeah.
And we have so many things. Like if you're passionate about like helping children of incarcerated loved ones, we have a resilient young people of Texas program that you could definitely work with. If you're passionate about, if you're a parent, and you have an incarcerated child, we have a parents compassion support. If you're looking, like it's like Tatiana said, if you're looking to volunteer with the ministry, we have that. We also have the compassionate prayer request page. And so we have lots of things, reentry, we have vets. We would love to have, if you are a veteran, or if you are a veteran who has been incarcerated, or you know of somebody who would like to give back, we would love to have some additional veterans for our veterans division. But if you don't have any experience, that's okay. You can like not have any experience and we will help train you. But we are definitely looking for people with all kinds of skill sets who are willing to volunteer, and want to give back to this amazing community of people. And we can always use the help. And even if you know write to us and you say like, I don't know if I could be a facilitator, but this is my skill set. I can do blah blah blah. We might be able to find a really great place for you within the organization too. So if you're interested in volunteering, definitely reach out during using our volunteer form that I linked. And then there's the ministry volunteer form as well.
Yeah, I just
So
linked it.
you have lots of different avenues for volunteering. So I wanted to also remind everybody we have a an email blast list that you can sign up for, and I'm going to put the link in for that as well. And so that email blast, you can sign up. And we also have a newsletter, and that goes to your loved ones. So we have an email blast that goes to you, and then we have a newsletter that gets mailed to your loved ones. And try to do those quarterly. We did a spring and a summer, and we're going to do a winter one, which we're very excited about. We're in the process of getting that together. So be on the lookout for shout outs. We'll be posting graphics to get some shout outs for our winter ones coming up. But if you are interested in getting our email blast, it has pictures from our advocacy work. It has really helpful tips. We just sent out one that had all kinds of really great information about how to advocate, who to contact, emails, all of our Facebook groups, things like that. So sign up for our email blast. We only send like one, maybe two a month. I promise you, we do not spam your inbox with stuff. Because I know I hate getting spammed with stuff, so I would not do that to you. But we would love for you to sign up for our email blast. And we would also love for you to have your loved one sign up for our newsletter. And if you've already signed up your loved one for the newsletter and they've already received it, you don't have to sign them up again. They're already on the list, and they will in perpetuity be mailed the newsletter every single time we have a newsletter. You only have to sign them up one time. Do you have anything exciting? Do you want to give them like a little, like a, to drop hints to their loved one about like maybe one thing that's going to be in the newsletter?
For
Something,
December, for winter?
yeah, for our winter one,
Mm.
to get their loved ones interested.
Oh gosh, there's so much.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
Besides the shout outs, which is like their favorite part, right? Is the shout outs they get from their loved ones. But
You know what? Maybe for the no, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna oh my gosh. I don't know. There's just so much. Oh gosh. I know we give resources on how to do, like the last newsletter. I know that a lot of our loved ones have like child support that they owe,
hmm
and how to do it, because if they're incarcerated for more than 2 years, they qualify to be to have the interest, or to have it waived. So it stops. It'll stop until he or she gets out of prison. And there's a way to do it. And in the last newsletter, we put that in. Now, for the girlfriends who are with somebody, I'm gonna be blunt. I'm transparent. I'm gonna be blunt. For the girlfriends that are with somebody who's married and they need a divorce and they don't know how to do it, we got the steps in there. Just steps. No legal advice. It's just steps on what to do, what steps you need to take. Trying to do it from the inside, and if not, you can have your loved one go to X place out here on the website and pull up that paperwork.
see, so they got some cool information that's going on the
For
inside to
sure.
help them. And so that's and normally we don't post the newsletter because it's like specifically written for people on the inside,
It's
but
for
a
them.
lot of that same information we do put in the email blast. So there is some cool information in the email blast that goes out, that has stuff about like our cool off with Christ revival, and it has like recommendations for things and how to advocate. So it's just we do two from different perspectives, because you guys out here, you need different resources than your loved ones do on the inside. And also, we have to be careful about the things that we send in, because TDCJ doesn't like it if we send in
For
anything that's
sure.
like
For
too
sure.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have that newsletter coming up. And so we'll be on the lookout for those shout outs. You can purchase a shout out for your loved one. And it'll be a winter shout out. And so we're hoping maybe we can do something cool, something different to do some of the winter shout outs too. So we're thinking, if you have some ideas, feel free to like DM me or something. Now we can't do like crazy pictures and stuff like that, but if you have a cool idea, we have some ideas. But if you have a cool idea, feel free to like email me or DM me or something.
Now, mind you,
Um,
we're limited space on that
we are.
newsletter.
We are
So
limited space, so it
that's
can't be
why
crazy.
we just have like a little space for the
Hmm.
shout out. But man, that really means a lot to them. I
It
didn't
does.
realize how much it meant until I sent one to my loved one. He's like, "Man, that's pretty cool." And
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna think it was cheesy, but
Same.
no, he really liked. He really enjoyed it. Just that acknowledgement.
Well, and I think it's also ever since physical mail was taken away, they don't get to like hold anything,
Yes.
that like you sent them.
Yep.
And I know like we were big letter senders. And so I think like getting to have that physically in their
For
hand, just to be
sure.
able to read that, it's just different than reading it on a
Yeah.
tablet. You know what I
And
mean?
not only that, we try to make the newsletter colorful as possible. It's not black
Yeah.
and white. It's all color, so it's not
Yeah.
cheap. But
Yeah.
we want to do that because as Christina says, I mean, ever since physical mail's been taken away, you don't appreciate the small things until you don't have it. So man, it just having that paper, and the first thing that they've said is, man, it's so colorful. And that's the objective, is we want them to enjoy it and for it to be informative and everything. So yeah, there's just yeah, we just it's catered to them, tailored for them. So we hope you understand why it's just something for them. But it's super informative, it's very personal uh to them, because I don't think anybody's really done something like that that's
Yeah.
tailored to them. Like we'll do flashbacks. We did a flashback, I think, from 2008. What happened in 2008 versus 2025? What was here? So next time, I know we're doing a different type of flashback, like prices. What's the price difference? Between such and such year and now. Times have changed, and
And to try to
we,
explain to your
yeah,
loved one that stuff is more expensive now.
heck yes, it is.
We're trying to subtly help you guys too.
Yes, definitely,
So, but
definitely.
so so I hope this was informative and educational and entertaining. We talked a little bit about the legislation. We talked about the heat directive. We talked about some of our amazing veterans projects, our new merch, law of parties, a little bit about transfers, which was kind of like an ad hoc thing. I just want
Yeah.
to remind people, though, we are in what we consider like, I mean, we're technically in a special session, but we are in interim right now. You can still, even in the interim, contact your lawmakers. You can still support campaigns. You can still share legislative resources. Like, even if we are in between sessions, you can still advocate, and you can still contact your legislators. Just because they're not like, in session doesn't mean that suddenly they stop working for you. So if you have questions and concerns, or you want to share your story with someone, who represents you, you can still do that. So please reach out, if you have questions from this live, if you have other questions, if you want to know how to submit a request for assistance, if you would like to get more information for your loved one, please let us know. Thank you guys so much for joining tonight. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of you. We love this community. We love advocating for your loved ones. And we also love educating. That's that we believe like education for both those on the inside and those on the outside is so important because when you educate, you become not just a singular voice, you become many voices who can advocate for each other. And I think that's really important for support and for our community. So thank you so much.
Thank
Please let us know if you
you.
have questions. We love you all, and we will see you later.
Good night.